GM, everybody. This is BitBoy's morning show. You guys are all doing well today. It's kind of a weekend where we saw Bitcoin go down a pretty significant amount. So we're going to be taking a look at that today. Hold on one second. Yeah, there we go. I fixed that little issue there. Okay, let's see here. All right, we're going to go to CoinGecko. There we go. Check every day at CoinGecko, see what's going on in the markets. We're at $3.696 trillion. 24-hour volume, 151 billion. Bitcoin dominance up big time, 58.3%. I think it was at 57.7 last time. And ETH dominance going down. It's just Bitcoin dominance just eating ETH dominance over and over again. ETH at 12.2%. And I just don't know what it will take for the price of Ethereum to go up. I really don't. The market cap here is a visualization of this. You can see we've lost 2.6% in the last 24 hours. Most of it coming in this down slider right here. 151 billion in 24-hour volume. They got one big spike, and that pretty good. Bitcoin coming in at $108,044. Ethereum coming in at $37.28. XRP 242, BNB 1020. Got a story about CZ. Just pardoning a little bit. Got some news on XRP and Solana today. Tron sitting about the same spot it's just been sitting in. Hasn't really moved a lot. And Cardano pretty strongly behind Dogecoin and Tron. I wonder what was up with that figure HELOC pump that we saw. See, it's $1.01 now. I think it's supposed to be maybe a stable coin. Trending coins, we got Kite, Chain Opera, and Aster still trending. Top gainers, Mind Blue, Chain Opera AI, Jelly My Jelly. It's a social media platform. It sounds ridiculous. Jelly My Jelly. I don't like jelly, so I don't want to jelly your jelly on anything. Okay. All right. Take a look here at the hourly gains. Bump.fun and Nexo on one's up. Incore up 0.9%. Everything else in the red today. See if there's some big red losers. Not really. Big Ed token and ICP, the only ones over 2% drops last hour. Let's go to 24-hour here. White Bitcoin up 8%. Meme Core up 3.2%. Zcash 3%. Official Trump coin up 1.9%. And then it's a lot of red. See what got hurt the most for the last 24 hours. Aster down 15%. Mantle down 8.6%. World Liberty Coin or WL5 8.2%. Big Get Token, Pepe, Aptos. These are all hit pretty hard. Cosmos, I guess Cosmos is going to drop out of the top 100 here, which is hard to believe, but I think it's going to for sure. When's the last time you saw somebody making a video on Cosmos? Uniswap, Wrap BNB. Okay, let's move on over to 7-day list. Why Bitcoin having the best time? And Internet Computer, ICP, up 21% for the 7 days. That's good. Down decent amount over the last hour, but over the last 7 days, building some momentum. Trump coin up 23.5% over the week. Meme Core 16.4%. BitTensor, Zcash. So there you go. And we'll look at the 30-day losers. Story IP, Aster, Avalanche, Aptos, Athena all 40% down. Golly, 30% down for all these. Ooh, it's been a bloodbath this week. So if you are up for the month, you're doing pretty well. Because everything else is getting crushed. Zcash, BitTensor, Whitebit, Beamcore, and then it goes down to XMR, and not a lot after that, really. Just stable coins and 0.0% moves. So there you go. All right, let's if you're going to be trading, make sure you're trading on Phemex. We've got our contest going on, and I've been looking for a trade. I can show you guys a trade, but I just can't find one. I'm not saying they're not out there, but everything I'm looking at is so confusing. It's just the price should be moving up, but it's not moving up. So you want to look for shorts, look for longs. Right now, it's a very choppy market. So, but don't forget, Phemex is our trading site of choice. You can visit the link above my head or go in the description down there and check it out. We only got 2 weeks left in our contest. Yeah, I think exactly 2 weeks, maybe. So, come join and trade with me on Phemex. Looking at the charts here. Did just have another big red candle. What did they say Bitcoin was at? 108? It's down to 106,335 actually right now. Need to update that number. Where is this thing going to land? Take that off for you guys. Let's see. Blue line's the VWAP line. Needs to hit that VWAP. Let's see. When's the last time we were this low? 48-minute chart. Let's go to the daily chart. We're looking for it to close above 107.7 to go back towards it, get inside this range again. All right. Check out the weekly. Well, this needs to move. There we go. Might be getting ready to print some diagonals maybe in the next couple of days or next couple of weeks. No, that's probably not accurate. So, okay, let's go and move on. Fed rate decision. 68.5% chance we get another rate cut. 31.5% chance that we don't. So yesterday it was at 63. So people are feeling a little bit stronger today than they were feeling yesterday. That's good. Show you guys that. Let's see, where's the crypto fear and greed index? It's 42% or 42 on the fear and greed index. So clearly strongly in fear right now. All right. Asia market open, Bitcoin slips below 108K as investors temper hopes for deeper rate cuts. Bitcoin fell under 108,000 at the start of the Asian trade on Monday, snapping the October narrative and extending the risk asset to gather pace late week. Bitcoin down 2.1%, Ether is down 3.8%, XRP is down 3.1%, the total market cap is down 3.1%. Of course, this was the weekend, and I think maybe they had a holiday in Asia or something. Asian equities open mixed to higher, aided by tech earnings that emphasize ongoing investment in artificial intelligence. Yet crypto stayed under pressure, reflecting a more selective appetite for risk. Liquidity was thinner than usual with Tokyo shut for a holiday, which, according to the desks, amplified intraday swings in early Asia hours. It's important information to know. Funding and positioning also played a role. Elevated leverage through October left long positions vulnerable. Crypto sentiment shifts after Fed chair cautions against December cut. October's close ended the market's October streak, and community chatter reframed the month as Red October, a sentiment pivot that set up a weaker handoff into November. Policy expectations remained the key macro thread. Following last week's meeting, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said in December was not a foregone conclusion of Fed cut, a line that kept traders from leaning too aggressively into dovish bets. Attention now turns to a heavy U.S. data slate. JOLTS job openings arrive Tuesday. ADP private payrolls land Wednesday. Weekly jobless claims come Thursday. And the University of Michigan's inflation expectations print is due Friday. Strong labor signals would argue for patience on cuts, while softer readings would revive easing hopes. Crypto's failure to follow upbeat headlines hinted at an overhang from leverage and a wait-and-see stance on policy timing. Overall, markets are experiencing a healthy deleveraging phase, while long-term holders have begun light profit taking. Bitcoin's realized cap above 1.1 trillion and stable on-chain activity indicate enduring structural strength ahead of a historically bullish November. About the seasonality of Bitcoin. U.S.-China headlines remain broadly within expectations, traders said, and did not deliver a clean catalyst for digital assets. Market instead focused on rates, the dollar, and positioning. Still, structural bulls highlighted on-chain resilience in the seasonally supported backdrop that often accompanies November. But like I said, seasonality is what that's actually called, where it does the same thing in the same season. Crypto prices slip ahead of U.S. jobs data as Scott Bessent flags rate cuts. Crypto edged lower on Sunday as traders positioned ahead of the U.S. jobs data due later this week and digested comments from Treasury Scott Bessent suggesting that high interest rates are beginning to strain parts of the economy. Major tokens softened across the board, with altcoins underperforming as investors maintain a defensive stance. In an interview aired over the weekend, Bessent told CNN that the Federal Reserve's restrictive policy may have driven down parts of the economy, particularly housing, into recession. Argued that the central bank now has room to cut rates. He warned that keeping borrowing costs elevated risked deeper economic pressure, especially for leveraged households. Crypto initially strengthened on the prospect that Bessent's remarks could reinforce the case for easing, but gains faded as traders weigh whether cuts driven by slowing activity might spur near-term liquidity. Bitcoin dominance remained firm. The U.S. market set to open on Monday. Investors are focused on Friday's employment report. So 8:30 a.m. on Friday, something to watch for. On-chain metrics also pointing to softening momentum. Bitcoin has failed to climb above the short-term holders' cost basis near $113,000, level some analysts view as the dividing line between bullish and corrective phases. The threshold has capped prices for 3 weeks, following 6 months of trading above it, signaling fading demand at current levels. Sustained break lower risks the risk of a deeper pullback, with the next significant support near 88,000. It's based on the realized cost basis of actively purchasing supply or circulating supply. Level is marked corrective phases in prior cycles. So there you go. Big O says, I'm until March. We'll definitely know what's happening, or by then what's happening. Elongated business cycle in play. That's kind of how I feel. I feel the exact same way. That we're getting corrections and repairs to the corrections faster than ever. I know we've been on a big correction here for a little bit now, but I definitely think that is what's going to happen. Felix says you will never have 88K Bitcoin ever again. I don't know if that's true, but that does seem to be a number. That does seem to be a number that would 88K. I mean, maybe. Can't say for sure. Hard to say. U.S.-China trade deal promises easing for global markets in Bitcoin. The announcement of a U.S.-China trade agreement marks a significant de-escalation in tensions between the world's two largest economies, but didn't really help out crypto. While the deal is not yet finalized, its implications are already rippling across global markets with potential effects for the agreement announced by President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping would suspend new Chinese export controls on rare earths, halt fentanyl precursor flows, and remove tariffs and non-tariff measures imposed since March of 2025. The U.S. plans to reduce tariffs on China imports by 10% starting in November. China is committed to the purchase of at least 12,000 metric tons of U.S. soybeans by year end and at least 25 million metric tons annually through 2028, providing a boon to American agriculture. Love those soybeans. All the soy boys with the soybeans. It's the biggest de-escalation yet. This is not getting nearly enough attention. Immediate market beneficiaries are expected to include U.S. agriculture, semiconductor manufacturing, critical minerals for electric vehicles and electronics. Financial analysts suggest risk assets such as tech stocks and digital assets, including Bitcoin, could see renewed institutional flows as trade uncertainty eases. The removal of tariff and export restrictions is considered bullish for institutional portfolios, Bitcoin increasingly forming a part of that mix. Improved U.S.-China trade relations may also ease cross-border business for U.S.-listed Bitcoin firms and reduce volatility linked to trade headlines. While the trade deal's implementation details will be closely monitored, the agreement signals a shift towards stability in global trading conditions. This could help reverse the recent stagnation in digital asset markets, offering a potential second win for Bitcoin investors. So, Solana price sinks below $180 despite $199 million in weekly ETF flows. Solana is sliding even as the new ETF products are tied to the token draw hundreds of millions in fresh capital, highlighting a widening gap between institutional flows and inflows and price performance. Solana is currently trading at $177. Let's see what the latest number is there. $168 now. Anyways, so you already know what it's at. This was written before that. The sixth largest crypto asset finds itself among the day's top decliners after it slipped below the key $180 psychological level. The downward spiral is part of a wider sell-off rippling across the market. Solana's decline comes even as newly launched exchange-traded funds tracking the asset attract strong demand, drawing over $199 million in inflows during their first week of trading. Products offered by Bitwise and Grayscale have already accumulated more than $500 million in net assets since the launch. However, the enthusiasm for the fund hasn't translated to price strength. It continues to face selling pressure as traders unwind risk positions and macro volatility. For now, the token's near-term outlook remains tethered to overall market sentiment. Some TA there on Solana. Downside risk could be mitigated if market sentiment improves. If market sentiment improves, capital begins flowing back into crypto, and institutional demand continues through Solana's ETF products. For now, however, the technical structure remains fragile, with short-term outlook still leaning bearish until a clear reversal forms. How about the XRP ETF? The long wait for XRP exchange trade funds is nearly over, but Bitwise and Canary Capital have filed the final updates required for their spot XRP ETFs, setting up a mid-November launch that could reshape the crypto landscape. According to the latest SEC filings, Canary Capital's ETF is set to go live around the 13th to 14th. Bitwise will follow a few days later, between the 19th and the 20th, about a week later. These dates are based on a 20-day countdown that automatically triggers removing the SEC's delay amendment, a process accelerated by the recent government shutdown. With at least 7 issuers preparing XRP ETFs, analysts say the race is on to capture the first round of institutional demand for Ripple's native asset. The Bitwise Solana ETF became the #1 crypto ETF in the U.S. by inflows, recording an impressive $470 million, being both BlackRock's Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. Come on. Wow. While futures-based crypto ETFs have existed for years, these are seen as the real deal because they're physically backed by the asset. Meaning people would actually have to hold these XRP tokens for the ETF. Growing interest in altcoin ETFs from Litecoin and HBAR shows how quickly institutional crypto products are expanding beyond Bitcoin and Ethereum. But for XRP, this moment carries special weight. After years of legal battles and skepticism, Ripple's token could finally gain institutional recognition many investors have been waiting for. All right. Well, that's the story. In most ridiculous story of the day, is Robert Kiyosaki's crash warning the catalyst for a major BTC price movement? Rich Dad Poor Dad tweeted this: massive crash beginning, millions will be wiped out. Protect yourself. Silver, gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum investors will protect you. Take care. This guy, he's always saying such extreme things. Bitcoin is trading around 110,414 with a daily volume of more than 30.6 billion. The latest headline maker came from Robert Kiyosaki, author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, who took to X to warn of a massive crash that would wipe out millions. This post was seen by 4.6 million people. While his warnings echo broader concerns about overvalued markets, Bitcoin's steady price suggests traders are not panicking. Instead, many are positioning around technical consolidation patterns and a potential breakout. Maybe. While Kiyosaki's warning adds a layer of uncertainty, may also signal rising investor skepticism, a sentiment often seen before strong recoveries. Historically, Bitcoin has performed best when fear peaks, but technical support holds. With its market cap above 2.2 trillion and a circulating supply near 19.94 million Bitcoin, its long-term fundamentals remain strong. Bitcoin breaks above its tightening range, a rally towards 120,000 could unfold in the coming weeks, fueled by renewed risk appetite and speculation that the worst of market fear is already present. So there you go. Did Robert Kiyosaki, is his tweet launching 1 million new Bitcoin investors, or is it launching a massive crash? Who knows? Hong Kong to let licensed crypto exchanges connect with global markets. Julia Liang, the CEO of the Security and Futures Commission, said licensed crypto exchanges will be soon allowed to connect their Hong Kong entities with global order books, ending the current system that confines trades within the city. That's big. If the Hong Kong market comes in, that's pretty big. Yeah. We will read that one later. Michael Saylor added 397 Bitcoin for $45.6 million to Strategy's holdings. And Donald Trump said on 60 Minute interview last night he had no idea who CZ was. He has no idea who CZ was. So, but anyways, guys, that's all we got for today. Hope you guys enjoy your day. Thanks for all the comments and the likes. Hit the like button on your way out. So we got to be blessed. BitBoy out.